Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched SmackDown Live episode 1030 and 205 Live episode 129, both broadcast on Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. This is the final show before Money in the Bank. I did watch it a little bit later. I didn't watch it live because the live feed, I was doing something while I was watching the live feed, and it started to get out of sync. I was like, this is kind of nonsense, so I'll just watch it later. But there was some good stuff in these episodes. Before I get into all the events of these episodes, a couple of more developments have come to have developed. Not really come to light. It's not like stuff has been like uncovered by investigative reporters or something, but going off of Monday Night Raw last night with the stuff with Nikki and Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bliss is not cleared to compete for the Money in the Bank ladder match, and so a replacement will be announced at some point, maybe not until the actual show. But I'm guessing that Nikki Cross is in the prime position to take Alexa's place, and if she does, I'll be rooting for Nikki Cross because this thing has me interested. Now, of course, there's discussions, speculations about whether Alexa Bliss is actually if it's a legitimate injury of some kind or medical state, but whether it's that or if it's just a story, I think it's both. I think if it is something legitimate that is not allowing her to compete, they probably knew about it on Monday, and so they made that made this storyline because of that. Not that it is just a coincidence that she wasn't cleared after this storyline got started. So I think it's a little bit of both, and that they're making the best of it, and that we'll have Nikki Cross in there on Sunday. I hope. The alternatives would be Ruby Riott. I would be pretty happy with her being in there. Or Sasha returns. She could be in there, but I guess we'll see what happens. And whatever does happen, I'm excited to see what happens in that match. So yeah. Oh, I was going to talk about my predictions for Sunday, so I'll do that at the end of this episode, after I talk about these actual what happened in these two shows. There's also Ric Flair is in the hospital, but it sounds like it was initially reported that it was something serious and major, but a few hours later, Conrad, his son-in-law, posted something about how it's a procedure that they were planning to do anyway. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. I wish him all the best in all of that. So, fingers crossed and all of that. Okay. So that's all I've got as far as the outside of the show's type of news stuff. I have not watched NXT or NXT UK yet, although I've gotten like a few spoilers. So I'm not even going to talk about any of that because it doesn't really affect what happened on SmackDown and 205 Live anyway. So first, let's talk about, I watched 205 Live first because it was posted on Hulu first, before SmackDown was on there. And you got to check out this episode. It is fantastic. We got, it's half and half 205 Live and NXT UK talent in these matches. And there's some such great stuff. First off, we had a fatal 4-way match between Humberto Carrillo, Jack Gallagher, James Drake, and Mark Andrews. Oh, this match was fun. I really liked when Mark Andrews, he went for a Hurricane Rana, but James Drake, I think it was Arky, he went for something, jumping off the barrier down on the entryway, and James Drake catches him, but then Mark Andrews finagles him his way out of it. So it was like a double counter and hits him with the DDT, the Hurricane DDT. So that was really cool. Jack Gallagher broke out Willem. We haven't seen Willem in a long time. He broke him out for a move to the outside, and he was doing all kinds of classic Jack stuff. And I really enjoyed that. So it was good to see him back doing all of that kind of thing instead of just being he was cool to watch in his other persona, in his other attitude as well. But this was cool too. Carrillo ended up winning the match. Carrillo did some great stuff throughout this match as well, by rolling up Jack after he headbutted Mandrews. So Jack was a little bit out of it, and Carrillo took advantage. So that headbutt maneuver, it takes a lot of energy out of Jack. I'd say that this is a lesson that it's not the most effective move to use if you have other opponents to worry about, who are legal opponents. After the match, Jack and Carrillo shook hands. Seems like they may have made up with each other. So we haven't seen Drew Gulak. We didn't see anything of him this week. They could be going, that war between them could be continuing sometime soon, maybe. I don't know. But I look forward to Drew Gulak's return whenever he does have his next match. Then we had Tony Nese versus Ligero. Man, just go watch this match. It is awesome. Ligero, I've liked him since I started seeing him on NXT UK or the UK Championship Tournament, all that stuff. But now I really like him. Like, this match won me over even more, that I could actually say, yes, Ligero is very, very good. Not that I didn't think he was good before. It's just that when thinking about, like, dream matches and stuff, I would never have Ligero. I would never think of having Ligero in that. But now I'm thinking, like, oh man, Ligero versus anybody else on 205 Live roster would be fantastic. Man, it's kind of a shame we never got to see. Well, I guess it's possible in the future, but Buddy Murphy versus Ligero, oh, that would be great. But anyway, Tony Nese won via the running Nese, but it was a hard-fought battle, and there's the handshake after this match between the two. The show of respect is cool. But then Daivari sneaks in and attacks, and we're set up for the championship match that will take place on Sunday at Money in the Bank. Because earlier we had a promo that Daivari was just like, hanging out. Was he in a tanning bed? Or was he was laying down for sure. And it was, he was just like doing the exact opposite. They're talking about this on commentary, that while Tony Nese was out here putting in the work, putting the title wasn't on the line, but he was still out here fighting, while Daivari is just hanging out, relaxing. That's part of the story that's being told there. So I did like that. Over on SmackDown, there's all kinds of there's stuff with Roman and The Miz. The Miz was banned from the show by Shane, and then the Usos come out. And so then the Daniel Bryan and Rowan came out. So then we get set up for a 4-on-3 match. Roman and the Usos versus Shane and his cronies. Which is kind of weird because Shane and Daniel Bryan were at odds in the past, and it didn't really seem like I don't know. It didn't seem like that dynamic was really in play at all or addressed. Although he did go for a fist bump, and they totally dissed him. he ended up just doing like one of those bro punches to the arm to Rowan instead. But Rowan and Shane, they fisted bumped. Anyway, we had a fatal 4-way match: Randy Orton versus Finn Balor versus Ali versus Andrade. This match was pretty cool. We got this freaking awesome RKO out of a 450 that went into a forward somersault, and Ali was doing this, and he gets caught with the RKO coming out of it. That was pretty awesome. Andrade won via the hammerlock to Finn, but he had some help. He had some help there. And then Ricochet comes out. As Andrade is climbing the ladder, Ricochet runs out. He is the second wild card, or third or fourth. He's the fourth wild card of the night. Apparently the Miz doesn't count because Shane banned him. Whatever. But Ricochet comes out and he just jumps right to the top of the ladder, springboarding off of the ropes, and grabs the suitcase for himself. That was pretty cool. I like that. Then we had the Roman and Usos versus the Planet's champs and Elias and Shane. Shane won by pinning Roman Reigns. Honestly, I actually wasn't paying much attention during this match, so I don't know what exactly went down, but I'm sure it wasn't a fair victory. Then the Miz attacks, because the stipulation was that if he interfered in the match, then the cage match on Sunday wouldn't happen. But the Miz comes out after the match, which technically doesn't mean technically doesn't make that match canceled. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, that continues. Whatever. Then we had the Kabuki Warriors, Paige in charge of the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi, versus Fire and Desire, Mandy and Sonya. Let's see. While they came out, they're talking about how names matter, and they called the royal baby Arky, and then before they got the name right, Archie, and yeah, what were they talking? They were talking about they were talking about Kairi and Asuka's tag team name or something. I think yeah, I don't remember exactly. I just remember Arky. I wrote down Arky because I thought that was that's not a name. Nobody has ever had that name, but you misremember Archie as Arky. It is pretty funny. Maybe they only saw it written out. Asuka won this match by pinning Mandy, so that was good. We didn't have it officially set that there would be a tag team championship match yet. I hope that we do actually have that match, the Kabuki Warriors versus the Iconics, and but I guess we'll see. I might find out in just a second when I look up the actual card for Money in the Bank. And then the main event segment, the Kevin Owens show with guest Kofi, but Kevin hosts it from backstage. And when he does finally come out, they brawl. Kofi goes out into the ring and says, well, why aren't you out here to host the show? Kevin and Sammy, they work together attack, and then Xavier Woods comes out and helps even the odds. And so I'm sure all of them will be involved in that match on Sunday in one way or another. I am pretty excited for that match. I think it'll be really good. But let's look up. Let's see, Money in the Bank 2019. Listen to me Google stuff. Money in the Bank 2019. There we go. Go to the Wikipedia page. So we don't have the Wikipedia page. I find is the least judgmental about everything that's going on. At least it's just looking at the card. We have 11 announced matches. Wow. Yowie wowie. We have Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship. I think a lot of this depends on what happens, what order the matches happen in, as far as what my predictions are. So I'll get back to that one. I think so we have Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans, and we have Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. I think for either of those, that whichever one goes on second, that I think Becky wins both of those matches, but the second one, that the person who wins Money in the Bank will cash in on Becky and win that championship. So then Becky will just be on the show that the first championship that she defended was on. Or actually, they could cash in. It doesn't matter who wins it because they could cash in for either championship. So she could defend against Charlotte successfully earlier in the night, then defend against Lacey Evans successfully for the Raw Women's Championship, and then right after that, the winner, who am I rooting for to win? The winner could be from SmackDown, who then cashes in on Becky. I think that would work because if that's the case, I think most likely it would be Bayley who could do that. Because I think Becky still hasn't actually beaten Bayley. So I think that would make a lot of sense. But we'll get to that when I get to the actual ladder match on this list. Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles. I'll be rooting for AJ, but I'm pretty much expecting Seth Rollins to win. It would be a nice surprise. It would be pretty cool. I think AJ Styles could make that championship look pretty good. The men's ladder match: Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. I'm rooting for Andrade here. I think he could be. He could really take the reins, so to speak, over on SmackDown if he wins that Money in the Bank ladder match. Because maybe, I don't even know what will happen, but I have no guesses on what's going to happen moving forward, whether it's Kevin Owens or Kofi who win the WWE Championship here. But if Kevin Owens does win, then I could. I don't even know. Andrade versus Kofi Kingston could be amazing. For a championship match with those two, man, that would be fantastic. If Kevin Owens wins, though, I think the most likely thing is that then it'll be Roman versus Kevin Owens. But so I kind of hope that doesn't happen. I like Roman doing his own thing now, not being. He doesn't need to be in the championship picture at all. I think for the people who like him to still like him. I don't think having the championship involved lessens Roman Reigns fans' liking of him. I think that makes sense how I said that. The women's Money in the Bank ladder match: Natalya versus Dana Brooke versus Naomi versus Bayley versus Mandy Rose versus Ember Moon versus Carmella versus TBA, probably Nikki Cross. So yeah, for this, like I say, on the SmackDown side of things, it would be so cool if Ember Moon wins it. But I think Bayley is the most likely to win on the SmackDown side. And if it is Nikki Cross, she is who I'll be rooting for on the Raw side. But if it's, I don't know, if Mickie James is in there, that would be awesome as well. But it doesn't really make sense story-wise. Everything, I feel like, is pointing to Nikki Cross being that replacement. Roman Reigns versus Elias. Roman's probably going to win, but I don't mind either way. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair. I already talked about that. The Miz versus Shane McMahon. I don't know. I hope the Miz wins because Shane McMahon won at WrestleMania. Maybe a reverse thing that even though he wins, it's not like a joyous victory, that they might both be dead, having fallen off of the steel cage, or thrown each other off of the steel cage. We'll find out what happens there. Because we don't have the tag team. Oh, we do have the tag team championship match. That is happening. But the B team, they could be involved somehow. We didn't see them in this last. Did we see this in this? I don't remember. But yeah, we'll see, because the B team still is. No, the B team is on SmackDown. Or are they? I don't know. They're still on the same. They're on opposite side. I don't. It's confusing. The wild card has screwed everything up. Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. I am rooting for Kofi. And yeah, I'm rooting for Kofi. I want Kofi to win. I really hope Kofi wins. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio for the United States Championship. I think this is the time Rey Mysterio gets the win now. We had him absolutely squashed at WrestleMania in less than a minute. I think it's. I'm hoping for a Rey Mysterio win, and I think, and at the very least, that this match is longer than the WrestleMania match. That we get to see some really good stuff in there. Maybe we'll get to finally see the Muscle Buster. Most likely, we'll get another tease of it, and Ray will reverse it into one of his Hurricane Rana variations. It looks like we'll have two kickoff show matches. Maybe, according to this Wikipedia, maybe they're just assuming. But Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari for the Cruiserweight Championship. I think Tony's going to win this one. Absolutely. And then we have Daniel Bryan and Rowan, the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions of the planet, versus the Usos. This match is just move Naomi and the Usos back to SmackDown, just permanently. Then you don't have to worry about them being one of the cards, the wild cards numbers or whatever. Like, just move them back. It just feels right for them to be on SmackDown. Like, how you need the Usos for both tag team divisions, like with what everything's going on, for it to be like any good at all. But I think you have a lot of the other great tag teams that have moved over to Raw. Bring them back. Bring them back home. Bring them back home to SmackDown. Because on Monday nights you have them pulling pranks. On Tuesday nights you have them kicking ass. It's just not compatible there. So we don't have the Raw Tag Team Championship on this show, and we don't have the Women's Tag Team Championships on this show so far. And it doesn't seem likely that either of those will be added, just because of how many matches there are already. I mean, this isn't WrestleMania, but we have 11 matches here. So, and 2 of them are ladder matches. The ladder matches will not be short. In fact, they would be quite tall, at least 12 feet tall. Here. Uh-oh. Let's see. My microphone cut out there for just a minute. But yeah, the technology just ruined my short and tall joke. But anyway, I'm excited for this. I'm not going to be able to watch most of it live because I'll be in California, which is means the show starts at like 4 p.m. Out there. Something like that. And on top of that, I will be at Comic-Con Revolution selling my art in the Artist Alley. So come check it out if you're in California. Come check that out. ComicConRevolution.com or something like that. Go to DemonJackal.com for the details. I have a link to the show because I do multiple shows throughout the year. So I have it to the page for this particular show. Anyway, but I am looking forward to it. Hopefully I can avoid spoilers. But there's not. Money in the Bank is one of my favorite pay-per-views. I see a lot of people just getting real tired of the weekly shows now, not enjoying them, myself included. I'm not enjoying them as much. I was even debating whether I would even actually watch SmackDown in full this week. I'm glad that I did because there is a lot of stuff that I enjoyed. But I think once we get over this hump of the Saudi Arabia show that they're not even talking about on TV. Well, I think once we get past that and into what the next month's pay-per-view and stuff is, the next one after that, and once we get rolling out of into Extreme Rules, I think we'll start picking up more and more steam going into SummerSlam, and I think we'll be back on track to having enjoyable time week to week. I hope so anyway. So yeah, let me know what you thought about this week's SmackDown and 205 Live, and what your hopes for Money in the Bank are. By tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And I'll be back real soon talking about this week's NXT and NXT UK. So thanks so much for listening. This has been TIW Podcast. Stay safe out there in all of the infinite universes, and I'll see you next time. Bye.